Alright guys, so today I'm just going to go through the 4 word problems from the Chapter 1, Chapter 2, and 6.6 test review. The entire detailed answers of the test review are posted on Schoology on your classes. Just scroll to the bottom of the materials page and the link will be there. Alright, so 4A. Maria drove 2 hours to the airport, then flew, and the average speed of the plane was 3 times the average speed traveled to the airport, and she traveled a total distance of 1120 kilometers, 1,120 kilometers. What was the average speed? So we are going to set up distance, rate, and time. So set up your chart with distance, rate, and time. I always set my chart up like this. Rate times distance. Alright, so she drove 2 hours to the airport and then flew for 4 hours. So those are specific. Oh, that's not in the rate, sorry, in the time. 2 and 4. And they said for the rate, this average speed of the plane was 3 times the average speed of the drive. So R and 3 times, so 3R. Distance is rate times time, so we are multiplying the 2 previous columns to get the distance. So 2R, and this will be 4 times 3R, also known as 12R. The total distance was 1120. So either they could tell you the distance is equal or the total distance. So the total distance is the distance of the drive and the distance of the flight. So 2R plus 12R is 1120. Hit pause and complete this equation here. Alright, so R equals 80, and the question says what is the average speed of each part of the trip? So the rate of the drive was 80. And the flight is 3 times 80, so 240. So in a sentence, you would say the drive was 80 kilometers per hour, and the flight was 240 kilometers per hour. Always have to write it in a sentence there. All right, next one. The sum of an even integer and twice the next greater even integer. So, even integers. So we have the first and the second, or the smaller and the larger, I guess we can say. Small, large. The handwriting is beautiful here. So x and x plus 2. The sum of an even integer, so this one, our first one here, x, and twice the next. So 2 times the second one is the same as the difference between 5 times the greater and 14. So go ahead and hit pause and check and see how I wrote this equation out here. And then distribute, simplify each side, and solve each side of the equation, and solve the equation for x. Alright, so x equals 4. Pause if you need to check my work. So 4 is referring to the first one, and then add 2 to it to get 6. So you would say the 2 numbers are 4 and 6. My typing is also great today. Alright, pause if you need to and check the work for this one. Alright, number 4, part C. Shirley has yellow tulips, pink, and red. So this one is going to be one that is number, value, and total value. And we said yellow, pink, and red. The value of them is the cost per one, so 10, 20, and 25. And usually they give you a relationship among the number of them. So there are 5 more pink than yellow. So since we're talking about yellow, yellow is X or N, and there are 5 more pink than yellow. So yellow plus 5 for pink. and twice as many red as the sum of the other two. So red is 2 times the yellow and the pink. So 2 times 2x plus 5, or you can just write 4x plus 10 if you want. That's the simplified form of that. All right, so total. The total value of your yellow ones is the value times the number. So this would be 10x. This one would be 20 times x plus 5, 20x plus 100. Then this one will be 25 times 4x plus 10, or 100 plus 250. Was running out of room. The total worth of all the bulbs together is $133.50. Since these three were all cents and I didn't put a decimal, I'm not going to put the decimal for the dollars here. And your total is going to be the worth of each of them added up equal to the 13350. So 10x plus 20x plus 100 plus, oh, I forgot my x here. 100x plus 250 equals 13350. So go ahead and hit pause and solve this equation for x. And the question asks for the number of each of them. So once you get x, you need to plug it back into the number column for each yellow, pink, and red. All right, so x equals 100. Pause this if you need to check my work for solving this equation. And then we need to know the number for each. So x equals 100. So there are 100 yellow, 105 pink, and 400 plus 10. So 410 red tulips. All right, so that was the answer for number 4, part C. Now let's take a look at 4, part D. A cabin cruiser leaves harbor and travels to a small island, and then on the return trip it travels at 60 miles per hour. So we are doing a distance, rate, and time one again, so set up that chart, please. All right, what information do they give us? So they say on the way there, the to trip is 24 miles per hour. The return trip is 16 miles per hour. The total time of the trip is 4. We don't need a total rate. That makes no sense. So we can just leave that blank. All right, so total amount of time. So you're going a little bit faster on the way there. So if it maybe took you an hour and a half, how much time do you have left if it's going to take you 4 hours total round trip? These two in here, these have to add to get to 4. So if you call this one t, then this left over is 4 minus t. Distance equals rate times time always. Don't worry about if it's a total distance or any other type of combination of distances. So distance for the to trip is the speed times the time. And the from trip will be the speed times that person's time. So this here would be 64 minus 16t if you simplify before making your equation. All right, so how far is the island from the harbor? So we need to find distance. They did not tell you a total distance. But if you're traveling to and then you're traveling from, what can we say about the distances? If you said that they are equal, you are correct. So we are setting our two distances equal to each other to solve for time. I know they did not say how much time, but we need to find time in order to find the distance, because distance is related to the time. So 24t is equal to 64 minus 16t. Solving this equation, 40t equals 64. Divide both sides by 40. And you get time to be, let me type this in right now, 64 divided by 40 is 1.6. So t equals 1.6. That would be great if they said how long was spent on the trip to the island, but what they asked for is how far is the island from the harbor. So both of these up here are equal. I'm going to pick the easier one to plug in. So distance equals 24 times our time. And we just found out that the time was 1.6. So multiplying that you get distance equals 38.4. My pen once again is not writing neatly. Partly my fault, partly not. 38.4, and since it was miles per hour and it was 1.6 hours, the total distance is 38.4 miles. If you want to just check, if you have a few extra seconds, plug the 1.6 up into this time and see if you get the same thing, because the distance has to be equal. I hope you guys found this video helpful. Come back here, hit pause, see how I set up the charts. Always notice that the biggest thing that we really are worried about is coming up with the equation from the information given to solve the word problems. I know the word problems are difficult. Take your time, practice, 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 and you will get better and it will get faster. So let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thanks, guys.